Ya, gas ayo. Masuklah. Oh, backdoor, 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 backdoor.
Thank you for watching. Let me introduce myself. My name is Asma Kindi, and I am from PEM Akamigas. In this opportunity, I would like to present about pump. First, I will explain to you about pump, then I will explain about pump classification. Okay, on this slide, I will explain about pump. A pump is a device used to move fluids, such as liquid, gas, or fluids. It increases the mechanical energy of the fluid. The additional energy can be used to one increase flow rate, second pressure, third elevation. Okay. On this side, we'll explain about classification pump. Pump Pumps are different into two kinds: positive displacement and dynamic. Positive displacement are different into two kinds as well as rotary and reciprocating. And dynamic are the differential into two kinds as well. This is centrifugal and axial. Okay. On this side, I will explain about positive displacement pump. Positive displacement pump apply pressure directly to liquid by a reciprocating piston or by rotating member. There is two types of positive displacement pump. First, reciprocating pump. Second, rotary pump. Okay. Reciprocating pump. In reciprocating pump, the chamber is a stationary cylinder that contains a piston or plunger. Okay. There is three types of reciprocating pump. Reciprocating pumps. First, piston pump. Second, plunger pump. Third, diaphragm pump. Okay. On the slide, I will explain you about piston pump. A piston pump is a rotary pump that uses a rotary valve or shaft to operate the piston. The rotating component can be connected to the shaft from either center, and the shaft can be connected to the piston. When the component rotates, it drives the shaft and piston downward to pull it back. Okay, next, the principle of the piston pump is similar to that of a positive displacement pump because they work with the help of the power of the pumping mechanism to increase the volume of the liquid. This pump can use power from a power source. Next, plunger pump. The plunger is one of the components in the main injection pump that functions to suppress diesel fuel so that the fuel that comes out of the injection pump has pressure. The plunger component is precisely made between the gap between the plunger and the bladder or cylinder, so that the fuel that is pressed or pump will be maximally and provide the highest pressure. Okay, how the plunger works? How the plunger works? Plunger position at button dead center or TMB. When the plunger is in the TMB position, diesel fuel will enter the injection pump suction chamber in initial state. The plunger moves upward the groove on the top of the flanger will close the inlet port on the barrel. And for this step, the flanger will push the diesel fuel upward until the delivery valve opens so that the fuel will be channeled to the injector to be injected into the combustion chamber. The distance the flanger moves during the fuel separation process is called the effective stroke. The size of the effective step will determine how much fuel is injected, and the size of the effective step is determined from the position of the flanger and the barrel, where the barrel will remain in position while the flanger will move up and down and rotate. And the final step of the flanger at the top dead center at the RTDC position when the inlet mixer is connected to the helix flanger hole. The remaining fuel, which is still has pressure, will return to the suction chamber. Function of the flanger is to compress or compress diesel fuel so that the fuel that comes out of the delivery valve has pressure. Diaphragm pump, that is when the volume of camber of either type of pump is increased, the pressure decreases and the fluid is drawn into the camber. When the camber pressure later increased from decreased volume, the fluid reflexively drawn in its force out. So finally, the diaphragm moving up once again drawn fluid into the camber, completing the cycle. This action is similar to that of the cylinder in an internal combustion engine. Diaphragm pumps will deliver a hermetic seal between the drive mechanism and the compression chamber, allowing the pump to transfer, compress, and evacuate the medium without lubricants. Rotary pump, the camber moves from inlet to discharge and back to the inlet. A wide variety of rotary pumps are available like gear pump, lug pump, screw pump, cam pump, and fan pumps. Rotary pump, uh, there is two types of rotary pump, single rotor and multiple rotor. Gear pump. The gear pump consists of housing with two covers. The powerful drive-on serrated pump is support in friction shock bearing. The media flow from the suction side to the pressure side of the pump. The media is pumped from between the gap between the teeth at the point where the teeth meet. For this reason, a gear pump is known as a displacement pump. Next is screw pump. Screw pump or screw pump is a positive displacement pump that can be constructed with multiple threads. This thread is connected to the collect fluid and transfer it into the system. The thread in the pump picks up the liquid and pushes it off the other surface while increase the pressure. Next, loop pump. The working principle of the loop pump is the two rotor rotates simultaneously in the opposite direction in a casing. The gear axis of the rotor always form a 90 degree
Loh, kemana itu ya?
Angle to the other third axis of the rotor. If the rotor is rotated in the direction of the arrow, as shown in the image below, the fluid confined between the casing and the lobe will be moved from the inlet side to the outlet. Next, on the slide, I will explain about dynamic pump. Centrifugal pump. This pump generates high rotational velocity, then convert the resulting kinetic energy of the liquid to pressure energy. And how they work? How centrifugal work? The pump is driven by a motor. Power from the motor is given to the pump shaft to rotate the impeller attached to the shaft. The liquid in the impeller will also rotate because of the thrust of the blades. Due to the centrifugal force, the liquid flows from the center of the impeller and exits to the channel between the blades and leaves the impeller at high speed. The liquid that comes out of the impeller at high speed when the liquid that comes out of the impeller at high speed will then come out through the channel whose cross-section is getting bigger, so that there is a draft from the speed head to the pressure head. Therefore, the liquid that comes out of the pump flange has a large total head. Okay, thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.